Hey, Richard. How's it going?
Hi Mike, welcome. Come in. Cheers. Hi, I'm Richard Heathcote and I'm a sports photographer for Getty Images. I've been working with the EOS-1D Mark IV pretty much day in, day out since November 2009. Firstly with the pre-production body and now with the on-the-shelf finished camera. Very impressive. Big leap forward in terms of technology from the Mark III. This image is from the women's luge, shot with the new 70-200 2.8 IS Mark II. And it's 20th of a second. When you're panning an image, you can actually go a lot slower than you really realise. It gives a much better effect, and also you can shoot through items or shoot through objects to make the image more interesting. This particular image, there's actually a whole bunch of trees between myself and the slider on the ice, which creates the dark patches in the pan. With this image, the sliders are coming around quite a big bend. You don't really see them, and so to catch them quickly enough, you've got to listen for the slider coming down the ice, because they kind of get almost shot out of a gun speed-wise in front of you. So you're only taking one image, maybe two images as they pan past you. So it's the focus is pre-focused on the ice, using an aperture probably around about f8, f10, something like that. 20th of a second, and as they come around, you're just trying to hold the slider in the right place in the frame. One of the best ways to do that is by moving the AF cursor point over to where you want the subject, not necessarily using AF, but using that cursor point to keep the slider in that particular part of the frame. Then you've got a much higher chance of having the subject sharp, instead of just hoping just to keep them sharp by panning through. The image we have here is from the skeleton. One of the best images you can take at skeleton is from the start, where the athletes run alongside the sled and throw themselves headfirst onto, kicking their feet up and launch themselves headfirst down the track. This is shot with a 400mm and a 1.4 converter, just to make sure you're tight enough, so they're filling the frame, everything's bursting through. The main challenge with these images is the AF tracking. The athlete is, coming down the track very fast, and they're jumping onto the sled, so you've got to be keeping the AF point over the top of the helmet, because if the helmet isn't sharp, it's not an acceptable image. So that's one of the big bonuses of the AF expansion points. With the new way that you can select left or right or surrounding areas, I've chosen to use surrounding areas, and so it's holding on to the helmet with the sharpness, and if by chance the athlete is moving all over the place and I haven't quite nailed the AF point right on the helmet, the AF points are helping and assisting to make sure that it stays sharp.